What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games, and in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing all the locations of each baby Pokemon in Pokemon Legends Arceus. Baby Pokemon are some of the hardest Pokemon to get to spawn, and since there is no breeding, you are going to have to catch these rare field spawns. First up is Pishu, that can be found in the Obsidian Fieldlands in the Crimson Mirelands. I personally think it is easier to go for it in the Obsidian Fieldlands, the first area. And you can actually get this right at the beginning of the game by going over to the Floral Gardens. So looking at the map that I'm right here, you can actually catch the Pichu right here. It is a rare spawn. You can also go over to Nature's Pantry and you can catch it here as well. So it does have two spawns on the map, but yes, this is one of the harder spawns to catch in the game. So I do definitely recommend reloading the area and seeing if you can eventually get the Pichu. Next up is Mime Jr, which can only be caught in the Obsidian Fieldlands. You can actually get this one right at the beginning of the game. And looking at the map where I'm exactly located, right over at Horseshoe Plains, you can get a Mime Jr. This is actually also the same area where Eevee can spawn as well, so they sort of share the same spawn. But as you can see, Mime Jr. is all the way in the back here. But if you want a much easier and consistent Mime Jr. one, go all the way down here to Sam Gem Flats, and there is guaranteed Mime Jr. spawns. There's about 2 or 3 that will always spawn here. And the rare spawn is Mr. Mime, so if you have a hard time getting Mime Jr., you can take the path, go past the Snorlax here, and get the Mime Jr. spawn. Next up is Munchlax, which can also be found in the Obsidian Fieldlands. You can catch one of the Alabaster Icelands, but that is at the very end of the game. So if you want to get Munchlax as soon as possible, you can right at the beginning of the game at Deer Track Heights. And there are multiple spawns for Munchlax, so the spawn for Munchlax is right here. However, you can also catch one around this other stamp as well. So there's 2 good spawns, and you can just keep resetting at the height camps and try to get this Munchlax to actually spawn for you. I do recommend feeding it food, and also I do recommend saving before any baby Pokemon just in case it does happen to run away, so you don't have to reset the entire encounter and try to have to find another one again. Next up is Hapini, which can also be caught in the beginning of the game in the Obsidian Fieldlands, but also can be caught in the Cobalt Coastlands and the Alabaster Icelands. The area where you can get it in the Obsidian Fieldlands can be assessed right in the very beginning or right after where you get Weirdeer to go up to the falls. But we're currently in the Orenburg Tunnel, and in the tunnel area here, we can see that there is a Hapini. So you just want to go through the tunnel. You can break the rocks with any Pokemon. Also on top of the falls, there is the Alpha Blissey where another Hapini can appear. And in this case, yes, there is a Hapini right here. There's going to be 3 spawns and 1 could be a Hapini. Usually it's just 3 Machops, but if you keep on resetting, you'll eventually get it. Next up is Badou, which is a relatively easy one to get. It's pretty much all over in the Crimson Mirelands, but it can also be caught in the Fabled Spring area of Coordinate Highlands. And I am just hanging out right here over in the Gapejaw Bog, and this one seems to always be spawning right here. Next up in the Crimson Mirelands is Bonsley, which can also be caught in the Coordinate Highlands and the Celestic Ruins. But in Cloud Pebble Ridge, this is the first place you can actually see the Bonsley. And Bonsley will be with amongst of Sudowoodo. It is a rarer spawn for sure, and of course it's one of those skittish spawns, so definitely try to throw a berry and try to catch it, just because this is definitely one of the harder ones. This Pokemon can apparently also come out of ore deposits as a really rare spawn instead of a Geodude in this area. Next up in the Crimson Mirelands is Togepi, which can be caught in the Cotton's Edge Prairie, which is the first place we can get it. You can also get it in the Cobalt Coastlands in a couple of areas, but I do personally prefer the Crimson Mirelands because you can also get Togetics here pretty easily from what I've seen. And we actually got really lucky and we got 2 to spawn here. So they're going to spawn near the flower patches. And going to Cobalt Coastlands, you can catch Mantike, which is relatively easy. I found the best spawns were in Tranquility Cove. And a couple of them will spawn. They'll spawn in and then hide underwater and then keep respawning. So you just got to follow the water bubbles and eventually you'll be able to see a Mantine. And this whole entire area really does have them. So all you got to do is go around for a bit and you'll eventually see one come up again. So there he is. He reappeared. You get an easy shot. I do recommend wing balls or any sort of the feather balls for any of the Pokemon in the water, just to make your life a little bit easier. Next up in the Cobalt Coastlands is Magme, which can be found over in Fire Spit Island. And it is a really rare spawn, so you may need to reset this a couple of times. And of course, I always recommend throwing a berry and trying to get it. And this Pokemon, like all the other berries, can also be in swarms, so hopefully you get really lucky, because yeah, this one was definitely a problem for me to actually just get my first Magme, which is right here. Heading into the Cornet Highlands, the Chingling can be found in the Sacred Plaza, also can be found in the Alabaster Icelands. I think it's relatively easy in both places, but Sacred Plaza is probably easier and it's the first place. So where Chingling's been spawning for me is actually right underneath the Sacred Plaza down here, near where the Alpha Rhyperior is. You can actually get a couple that can spawn here, and another skittish Pokemon. So it is always good to try to get behind it, throw a ball at it, and capture it. Berries help as well. One of the late game babies is Elekid, and the first time you can catch an Elegate is in Cornet Highlands in the Cloudcap Pass. However, you don't see it here. You can get it in Alabaster Icelands. Personally, I've had a lot of good luck on getting Cornet Highlands, and I do want to mention that baby Pokemon can be in outbreaks, so we actually got really lucky and we got ourselves an Elekid outbreak up here, so we get a shiny. That would be pretty cool. And some babies are more aggressive than the others to keep in mind if you do get an outbreak, so something like an Elegate will try to fight you, but this is where you can actually find Elekid, usually one if there isn't an outbreak right here, but there's also another one coming up right over here where the normal spawn usually is as well. So there's a couple places where Elekid can spawn up on this mountain path. And next up is the hardest baby Pokemon to catch, which is Klepha. It can only be found at the Fable Spring in Cornet Highlands at night, and it's a rare spawn within that. So Clefairies and an Alpha Clefable will be there. They're just going to have to keep resetting until the Klepha actually spawns. And luckily we got it to spawn after like our third or fifth try. You can see it all the way in the background here. These Pokemon will be very aggressive against you, so this is definitely one of those, well, you want to be super precise. You don't want the Alpha to randomly jump on you. And the Alpha is attacking me, and it ran away, so definitely want to be careful about this situation. This is why you want to save beforehand. So I just wanted to show you what an epic fail on the baby would look like. But if you were just to reload your save, you would be okay, and the Klepha would be there. And the final baby Pokemon that can be caught in Pokemon Legends Arceus is Friolu, that is found in the Alabaster Icelands. You can find it in the Icebound Falls or the Snowfall Hot Spring. I think it's personally easier in the Icebound Falls. And right here on the map where I'm at, right over here, so near the first camp, you can go all the way around here and come over, or you can go through the cave down here and walk through the path. Lucario can also potentially spawn here as well, which is a whole thing, and this Machoke will not stop flexing in front of me, but you want to of course sneak up behind it, run and hit it. Friolu is a little bit of a trickier Pokemon as well. It will run away from you, and it has a high catch rate, so got to keep that in mind. Well guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon action, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a good one.